Conservation's public hearing in docket numbers IMD 2025-02 and 03. My name is Jonathan Rice. I'm an attorney for the Office of Conservation. With me this evening is Dr. Scott Sabermain, a geologist for the Office of Conservation, Injection and Mining Division. I've been designated by the Commissioner of Conservation to act as the hearing officer this evening. My duty as hearing officer is to see that a clear and accurate record of this hearing is made so that the decision makers have an understanding of all the testimony. Public hearings are intended to receive comments, not to answer questions here at the hearing. The Office of Conservation will promptly respond to all relevant comments made at the hearing or submitted during the public comment period. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is to allow all interested persons an opportunity to enter into the record any relevant oral or written comments or data concerning the Injection and Mining Division's draft permit in response to ExxonMobil low carbon solutions onshore applications for the drilling of 2 Class 5 stratigraphic test wells. The wells will be located in Section 34, Township 4 South, Range 5 West, and Section 29, Township 5 South, Range 3 West of Allen Parish, Louisiana. I stress the word relevant, since only such comments will be considered by the Commissioner in reaching a decision regarding these applications. An example of a relevant comment could include whether or not the permit application is in full compliance with applicable rules and regulations for this type of project. As a matter of information, rules and regulations regarding these types of operations are found in State Board Order 29 N1, which is codified as the Louisiana Administrative Code, Title 43, Part 17, Subpart 1. For those of you who wish to make a comment for the record, I would ask that you, again, each fill out a blue attendance card at the middle desk here, table, if you haven't done so already. The blue attendance cards are please mark whether you wish to speak, and then bring your card to this table so we can have it accordingly. The public comment period ends on tomorrow, Thursday, May 1st, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. If you desire to submit a written comment for consideration after the close of the hearing, please submit your written comment to the Office of Conservation, Injection and Mining Division, 617 North 3rd Street, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 70802. Written comments can also be emailed to info@la.gov. That is info@la.gov. Any written comments submitted via mail must be postmarked by tomorrow, and any comments submitted via email must be received by tomorrow, Thursday, May 1st, 2025 at 4:30 p.m. Please understand that you may make oral statements or submit written comments. If you have a lengthy statement that you intend to read, I ask that you please summarize the statement and submit the written statement to the court reporter, just to my left, for inclusion into the record. If you plan to enter into the record any oversized documents that are larger than a legal size document, they must be reduced to at least legal size. That's 8.5 by 14 inches. If you plan to enter into the record a video or audio recording, you must have a copy today for the court reporter. All written comments will receive the same level of consideration as any oral statements. Can y'all hear me out here? Y'all need me to talk up? Copies of ExxonMobil low carbon solutions onshore applications were available for public review at the Office of Injection and Mining Division in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and on the Injection and Mining Division's webpage. Public notices regarding this hearing were published at least 30 days before the hearing in the Kinder Courier, the official parish journal for Allen Parish, and in the Advocate. Is this better?
Yeah, thank you.
At this time, I call on Dr. Scott Sabermain to file into the record the appropriate state exhibits and provide a synopsis of the applications.
The state exhibits the following exhibits for the record.
Exhibit number 1, public notice. Exhibit number 2, fact sheet. Exhibit number 3, applicant notification of public hearing and assessment of the public hearing fee. Exhibit number 3A, receipt of the public hearing fee. Exhibit number 3B, application availability at the Office of Conservation. Exhibit number 3C, posting of the link to the electronic application package on the DENR Class website. Exhibit number 4, proof of publication of public notice. Exhibit number 4A, the advocate. Exhibit number 4B, the Kinder Courier. Exhibit number 5, list of interested parties notified of the public hearing. Exhibit number 5A, confirmation of notices sent mail. Exhibit number 5B, confirmation of notices sent to the parish governing authority. Exhibit number 6, draft permit, Form UIC 25 application, and attachments for application numbers 454 and 45462. And lastly, exhibit number 7, public comments and/or exhibits. ExxonMobil Low Carbon Solutions Onshore has submitted applications to drill 2 Class 6 stratigraphic test wells designated Hummingbird IMZ number 1 and Mockingbird IZM number 1. Hummingbird IZM number 1 will be at an approximate location of latitude 30 degrees 35 minutes 4.63 seconds north, longitude 92 degrees 41 minutes 54.26 seconds west, NAD 27 LA South. Mockingbird IZM number 1 will be at an approximate location of latitude 30 degrees 39 minutes 53.27 seconds north, longitude 92 degrees 52 minutes 4.34 seconds west, NAD 27 LA South. The wells will be used to collect geotechnical cores and other applicable information. The total depth of Hummingbird ISDM number 1 is at a depth of 7,660 feet below ground level. And the base of the lowermost underground source of drinking water in the vicinity of Hummingbird ISDM number 1 is approximately 2,430 feet below ground level. The total depth of Mockingbird IZM number 1 is at a depth of 7,480 feet below ground level, and the base of the lowermost underground source of drinking water in the vicinity of Mockingbird IZM number 1 is approximately 2,788 feet below ground level. Each application consists of the application form, attachments describing the geology and hydrology, the construction, completion, and the operation of the well and closure.
Thank you. The docket exhibits have now been filed into the record. At this time, I'd like to request a representative of the applicant, ExxonMobil Low Carbon Solutions Onshore, to, if they would like to make a statement, please do so at the podium.
Test on. Is it loud enough? No? You hear me? Okay. All right. Commissioner Giambroni, Bishop Rice.
We can't hear you.
Is this better? Oh, wow.
wow.
I thought that was you or me. Wow.
Well, thank you if it was you. My name is Justin Carr. I am the United States Gulf Coast.
We can't hear you.
Still can't hear me.
It's like going in and out.
Okay, I'm going to eat it. Okay. I think I heard that feedback. Okay, here we go. I am the U.S.
Gulf Coast CCUS Asset Manager for ExxonMobil Low Carbon Solutions. I want to thank you and your staff for holding this hearing and for evaluating our application for a permit to drill and complete 2 Class 5 stratigraphic test wells in Allen Parish. I stand before you today having provided detailed information in support of our applications, respectfully requesting that your office approve these applications. Before submitting our application, we conducted comprehensive geological and hydrological assessments to select a prime location for each test well. Our evaluation of the area of review showed no existing legacy wells and no natural geological features that would threaten the integrity of a research well. The test wells will be drilled approximately 1.5 miles deep, as mentioned, and our construction, design, and operational plans meet federal and state specifications, as well as our own company's rigid standards for subsurface drilling. In fact, the processes we will use for our exploratory wells will be the same or exceed oil and gas industry standards. The 2 Class 5 wells will play an important role in determining whether ExxonMobil proceeds with its proposed carbon capture and storage projects in the area. CCS uses proven technologies to safely capture, transport, and permanently store carbon dioxide more than a mile below ground. The CO2 will be stored under the same kind of impermeable layers of rock that have kept oil and natural gas locked underground for millions of years. It's also important to note that the 2 Class 5 wells that we are seeking to drill will never be used to transport CO2 below ground. There are many steps to go through before we decide to proceed with these projects. What these wells will do is provide core samples and other scientific data that will help us confirm the feasibility of a potential future project. ExxonMobil must ensure proper geology exists in the area and that a potential project will meet stringent environmental and safety standards. Although our Class 5 wells are just for research, we are excited for the potential that it represents. Should the geology prove safe and effective for CO2 storage, Allen Parish, its landowners, and the state of Louisiana will benefit tremendously. If we were to build and operate a project here, we would invest hundreds of millions of dollars in the parish and employ area residents throughout the construction phase. Through both the construction and operational phases of the project, tens of millions of dollars in tax revenues will be paid to the parish. This could help fund schools, parks, roads, public services, or whatever the parish decides. In addition to these direct investments, this will spur further indirect economic activities. All this economic benefit could come from just a few wells and storage operations designed to a higher safety standard than nearly all of the 740,000 injection wells currently operating in the United States today. Beside the economic benefits, other local benefits will stem from the fact that ExxonMobil strives to be a safe and responsible operator everywhere it conducts business. One example is that, if approved, we would inspect the acreage covering the storage area for legacy wells and plug them, in excess of current oil and gas industry requirements even. This could involve plugging orphaned wells in the parish, which would bring additional safety and environmental benefit. We strive to be a positive member of the communities in which we operate. We have community programs like Good Neighbor Grants to contribute to community organizations. As a proactive measure, in addition to the work we do to prevent incidents from occurring in the first place, ExxonMobil also provides first responders with free hands-on training that includes simulated releases so they become aware of the properties of CO2 and how to safely manage a situation should a release ever occur. I'm also happy to announce that we are expanding that program from a facility in Texas, the TEEX program, to another facility in Louisiana and in Mississippi to make it more convenient and easier for volunteer and professional first responders to attend. Lastly, I'm thrilled with the investment that Louisiana has already won because of its natural resources, skilled local workforce, and oil and gas infrastructure. Abundant, low-cost natural gas, coupled with the right, safe geology, enables the development of lower carbon products that are more competitive in today's world markets. According to the Louisiana Economic Development, Louisiana has seen several global brand names announce more than $49 billion in new investments that rely on CCS infrastructure. As more companies look to Louisiana, they will seek to locate their facilities close to areas that can store their CO2. I expect we will hear a mixture of support and concern tonight. ExxonMobil is committed to providing facts and correcting any misinformation or misperceptions that have developed. In fact, the story of Louisiana's success in regulating wells should be shared more broadly, because it has contributed to the United States' record of tens of trillions of gallons of liquids injected in class 1, 2, 3, and 5, and 6 injection wells, all under underground injection control regulation managed by the EPA and the LDENR. The oil and natural gas industry with LDENR safety oversight enables Louisiana to unlock an opportunity that few places on this earth have access to. Louisiana is now in a position to offer manufacturers an opportunity to retain and grow jobs, expand and innovate, and to serve the world market from right here in Louisiana. With CCS, there's a very good chance that we will see manufacturers that have been leaving the United States for decades come back to the US and choose Louisiana as their base of operations. This will only happen if we allow companies like ExxonMobil to explore the geology, so we can safely develop the resources we have here, which is what Louisiana's oil and gas industry has been doing for over a century. LDENR can take a step closer to this reality by approving our applications. Therefore, I would like to close where I began by respectfully requesting that LDENR approve ExxonMobil's applications for these 2 test wells in Allen Parish. In addition to being an important step in the safe development of this project, this process will also serve as another opportunity for us to continue listening to the community. As we continue to gather information and work to determine whether an actual CCS project will indeed move forward in Allen Parish, we will continue listening and conversing with the local community. I appreciate the opportunity to provide these remarks and for your time and consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, now we have a fairly large amount of people here today. So in order to allow everyone to have a fair opportunity to be heard, we're going to limit the time of each speaker to 3 minutes. Any unsaid comments at the end of this time may be submitted in writing and will be entered into the record. When speaking, please be mindful of this yellow card and this red card. The yellow card means that you have 1 minute left to conclude your statement. The red card means that you should swiftly conclude your statement. Thank you for understanding. As you begin speaking, please state your name and whom you represent if you are appearing in a representative capacity. When another person is speaking, please do not disrupt the comments by interrupting or engaging in a side conversation, as it tends to distort or mask the recording and makes the job of the court reporter more difficult. Again, the public comment period will close tomorrow, May 1st at 4:30 p.m. With that said, we will now receive public comments. Are there any elected officials that would like to make a statement or provide public comment? If so, please come forward. Having none, calling for comment is Mr. Ryan Connors. Please approach the podium.
Good evening. My name is Ryan Connors, and I'm here representing Rainier. The 2 research wells are on our land base. I lead the mineral resources team for the company. My responsibility is for everything beneath our trees. I've been with Rainier for 12 years. My background is in geology and geophysics, and for the last 20 years, I've been studying and protecting mineral resources for landowners in Louisiana. I make sure any project on our land is grounded in good science and good stewardship. When this project was first proposed, we did not rush to say yes. We were cautious, as most landowners are, and we had concerns that needed to be addressed. We worked with our own experts and outside specialists, including geologists, engineers, legal and environmental specialists. We also worked closely with ExxonMobil to fully vet every aspect of the proposed project. At Rainier, we take our responsibility as landowners seriously. We hold anyone who works on our land to high standard, because protecting the land and the communities around it isn't just good business, it's the right thing to do. The decision for you tonight isn't about approving the full storage project, we understand that. It's about 2 research wells. And we see these research wells as necessary to confirm key characteristics of the geology, including the quality of the storage formation, and most importantly, the integrity of the overlying seal. Gathering this information ensures that any future decisions are based on real data and sound science, not assumptions. We appreciate the department's careful review, and we respectfully ask for your support in approving these research wells. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, call Holly Johnson.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm also with Rainier.
Twist.
Sorry, is that better? Yes. Okay, sorry. I'm also with Rainier, and I'm here to give you a little bit of background about our company. Rainier is a large landowner here in Louisiana. We proudly manage 146,000 acres across Louisiana from our local DeRitter office. Our working forests are a significant part of the contribution to the economy, both nationally and in Louisiana. Nationally, we have 90,000 rural jobs. Hello? Oh, there we go. We support 90,000 indirect rural jobs, and in Louisiana, the impact is 1,800 jobs. Our management approach is rooted in a deep sense of responsibility, focusing on the long-term health and productivity of vital resources. As a leader in forestry, we consistently set ourselves to high standards, like that of the SFI standard, across all operations, and the same diligence that we bring to every project. Our commitment also extends to both conservation and our local communities. For generations, we've acted as a dedicated steward for this land, providing essential habitats for many of the vulnerable plant and wildlife species within Louisiana. We are also a proud supporter of Louisiana's rich outdoor heritage through Rainier's hunting and recreation program. We dedicate approximately 138,000 acres that thousands of outdoors men, women, and children use in the state every year. Looking ahead, we see the exciting potential of carbon capture and storage for both Rainier and Louisiana. This technology holds the promise of enhancing our valuable timberlands and establishing a dependable revenue stream, strengthening our resilience during volatile market shifts. Moreover, we believe CCS offers transformative potential for Louisiana's crucial pulp and paper industry, which often has an energy-intensive process by enabling the capture and storage of carbon emissions. These mills can ensure their competitiveness in a changing economy as organizations like American Forest and Paper Association explore innovative solutions for a sustainable future. We believe CCS is a critical piece of that puzzle. Consistent with our established forestry practices, safety and environmental stewardship will be paramount in all CCS projects. Rainier is eager to explore CCS responsibly, aiming to foster economic growth, support jobs, and ensure continued prosperity for Louisiana's natural resource sector. Thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you. Next, Kurt Uncle.
I just got, on everybody talks about the, economics and the money on this thing. And what I wanna know is if anybody's ever considered the cash value of our economy and the next generation. What's the value of, we can put on the next generation with the problems we're gonna leave them?
Thank you. Next speaker will be Roland Hollins.
Exxon got about 5 minutes, so 3 minutes won't be enough.
No problem.
I appreciate that. Yesterday, Exxon over the weekend sent out flyers last week talking about how good they want to be our neighbors. Well, yesterday, I think we found out, this is why we got to depend on our State Department to help us here, because we found out that the industry may not be as interested in helping us and protecting our waters as we first thought they would. Because yesterday, we tried to get bills passed to ensure our water districts, in case we have a contamination, we can't afford it. Our water districts from month to month barely survive financially. So we couldn't even get an insurance policy. That's something that we need to work on. We need to make sure that if we have a breach and there's a water contamination, that these companies are responsible. First responders. Yesterday they talked about sending them, a while ago somebody said sending them to Texas to get training. Well, when they first come in here, when we was talking to them, they was talking about supplying equipment and all these things that matter for pipelines, for leaks in case we have it. Well, yesterday, we found out that there will be nothing extra unless this bill comes back up, because we had a bill to try to get more fresh air supply to our volunteers and like electric truck, and industry fought us on that. No extra safety measures. We had a safety measure that we felt like that's important. Our communities out here is being forced with a new technology, because the fact is everybody from industry likes to say we've been doing this 45, 50 years. You have enhanced oil recovery. But this, when you pump CO2 in the ground to get oil and gas out, it's an outlet coming back out. When y'all gonna pump this much CO2 under our water aquifers, it's gonna hope to stay there. And here's why we're so concerned. Look, I ain't trying to be ugly, but we very seriously upset, and we're very worried, and we're very concerned, because the very things that I'm talking about tonight, it seems like we're getting run over in Baton Rouge and by these big companies. We didn't want you here no way, but you're here by force. But look, I appreciate the little extra time, because this is important. The first well in the United States had 2 leaks. To where the first leak, the company kept injecting CO2 in that zone, and it was leaking. Well, they just kept pumping. So when they had the second leak, they had to stop, and they reported it and got fined. Now the legislature of Illinois had to pass legislation that says you can't pump underneath that water aquifer no more, or nowhere near that water aquifer. And you say that we don't have some concerns? This is our sole water supply to 15 parishes. You can't survive without water. So we had a bill that industry fought yesterday that said simply this: if Exxon says they're so good and they're going to do the right thing, then why would they fight a bill that says that if we have a leak, that we're gonna be responsible enough to shut it down and let local governments know, and let the Natural Resource Department know. Let us all know, and that we don't continue to contaminate by continuing pumping. They fought that bill. You think we believe in this industry? You think we, oh, hey, pull that card up. You pull that card up. This is our home, buddy. Hey,
How many jobs?
listen. This crowd, look, we need to get this off our chest, okay? So, because this is our home. We've been run over. We ain't gonna be run over much longer. So here's the thing. Are you gonna be pumping in the Mycene? Are you gonna be pumping in the Mycene, Mr. Carl? Are you pumping in the Mycene? Are you gonna be pumping in the Mycene?
That's why they want it.
The Mycene is the closest thing to our water. I wanna know, can we know that? Can we find that? Because they keep saying it's way down, but I wanna know, in one meeting I was with, they said something about they might go into the Mycene. These are the things we need answers to. That's why it's so important that the industry and that the Natural Resource Department assure us of some accountability. Be a partner. You want to be a neighbor? Well, what we're talking about tonight is the way to be a neighbor. So, you know, we got very serious concern. And you know, size coming and being a real neighbor and sit down and talking to us about the things that really makes us feel better, like our state is going to take care of us and watch over our future, our generation's water. Then we find out we lose every deal yesterday. But that fight ain't over. Well, look, I appreciate you for your time, and I appreciate you for coming. I know that it wasn't going to be easy because our people is very concerned. And the thing is, you know, this company comes in here saying that, you know, it's our land. Yes, and I believe in land rights. Believe me, we fought to keep eminent domain out of our parishes yesterday. We lost that fight. I believe in land rights. But it's going to be pumped under all of our water, no matter where you inject it at. And that's what we need to make sure that we do this right, and that we have accountability, and that y'all make our parish a partner in that, not leave us out. And the last thing I'm going to say is this. You know why we don't trust y'all? Here's the thing. First of all, we didn't even know you was coming. Second of all, we got to build, I mean, what I'm saying, you need to hear this, Governor and everybody else, is this. Here we are having the first class 5 hearing in this parish tonight. We already got a road built into one of these wells y'all here come to have a hearing for, and working on the other road, and already applying for a class 6, and we ain't even got through this 5 class. I mean, and I know I talked to Patrick. Patrick called me back and kind of explained to me the process. I appreciate that. But what I'm trying to tell y'all is that the way this has been done, nobody's coming here and sit down with us in the right manner and sit down and make stakeholder meetings and bought in. All we've done is come in here, give $100,000 here, give $200,000 here, and try to buy our people. You ain't gonna buy our people. Work with our people. Quit running from us. Quit fighting bills that matter to us. If you're gonna force us, join us and help us. Make us feel safe.
Thank you, Mr. Olive. Next speaker will be a Charles Kinger.
Thank you for your extra time, sir.
And for everyone here, it is a 3-minute limit. We understand, and we sympathize with what you have going on. What we're gonna do is like to let you talk. We just want to be able to hear everyone. That's why
Sir,
we have that hearing.
sir, he can have my time.
He can have mine.
He can have my time.
That's right.
This is our parish.
That's right.
Kurt, Roland, man, you're spot on.
Amen.
Pick it up a little bit.
My thing is, back in the 20s, you had a lot of guys drilling wells that they're not even registered. This guy's mama worked for the conservation department for years, 50 years, 20s, 30s. Who was drilling them wells? Where were they? What's their names? Were they plugged? No, they were not plugged. Working with Amoco, they started fracking over here in the early 80s. Right down the road where y'all going with this well that Roland was talking about on the left, going towards Mitty. Amoco drilled about 6 or 7, 8 wells in there. They have Marcantel, Matilda Gray, a couple other ones by Red Sanders. And they've started fracking in there. They get 100% salt water. It's 400 barrels a day. And then when they frack it, they get 100% salt water. And I called a driller, Ray Crochet from Lake Arthur, Evangeline. And I asked him which way, whenever they were fracking, why would they get that salt water? It was going 4 or 5 miles this way, 4 or 5 miles that way. That's what McNeese's engineering department told us night before last. It's 6 miles when you pump this CO2 in the ground. It's gonna go 6 miles. When I was first I heard of that. But here's Amoco's, all their wells right here. And when they frack it, they get salt water. Ray said it went straight up. It didn't go out. It went straight up. Salt water, 100%. That's where it went. You got all those wells out there. And that's where this first well is. That's going down here towards Mitty. It's gonna be 2 miles from there. It's gonna go out 6 miles into those wells out there that's been fracked. Engineer McNeese said there's no fractures here. This was the best place in, I want to say he said the United States to put it, right here in Allen Parish. Isn't that what he said? And what happens if it hits it? Well, he's got to study that. Now, there's no fractures. There's no fault lines or nothing here. Well, there's faults. There's fault down there. There's 3 or 4 faults right down 165, 190. There's fault lines everywhere. Ray Crochet said there's fractures around here. Over there by the reservation, Amoco drilled a well there. They fracked it. I'd say a half a mile from where y'all want to put that well on that old Reshort property. There's another well drilled right across the road. They fracked it, 100% salt water. They moved over 100 feet, drilled another one, fracked it, 100% salt water. They plugged it and left. That's 400 barrels a day. They wanted to get 2,000, 3,000 like they do in the Haynesville Shale. This right here is a Tuscaloosa. It was a Tulane did this. This is the Tuscaloosa. It goes right across the middle of Louisiana, right here where y'all want to do that. Before they started fracking, this made people a lot of money. Over there in Ville Platte was the last one they drilled. They didn't have to frack them, but they were 20,000 feet deep. We can frack them, we don't have to go that deep. They couldn't handle that pressure. Now when y'all put all that right on top of this Tuscaloosa here, and the Austin Chalk, and the Wilcox, and the Cockfield, the lawyer in North Dakota, where somebody got run out of North Dakota, in South Dakota. Well, that lawyer, I called him. A friend of mine in Houston gave me some numbers from Texas A&M. They're engineers. It's not me doing it. I asked him if he could drill through these plumes, or whatever you call them, plumes, that's going to be put on top of this Tuscaloosa. He said, absolutely not. You can't drill through this. So, and up at the up there at Haynesville Shale, I got a friend up there, got 3 nice wells. They've been fracking up there. How many earthquakes they got up there? Last couple of months, 3 months, I guess. 10. He told me they had to build a levee around 75 or 80 acres of stuff coming out of the ground from fracking. They don't know what it's oil and green stuff and just whatever's coming out of the ground. That's from fracking. And I'm like, Roland, Whenever you pump this in the ground, when you frack, you gotta, what, y'all with Amoco? Y'all with ExxonMobil?
That's the state.
That's the state, okay. Well, when you frack, you gotta be 10 times greater than bottom hole pressure to frack, to buck that pressure. I don't know how much pressure y'all gonna have to buck in this Wilcox, but it used to be 7,000 and 8,000 pounds. So when you're pumping, you're pumping that CO2 in the ground, do you have to buck that pressure to get it and keep it down there? And that's about all I gotta say. But, yeah, I wish y'all would, you know, we were all raised here, and, well, you're gonna put it in a rural area is what they're saying. The best place to put it is in a rural area. That's the best place. There's no more rural areas. People are moving out of these cities to get to these rural areas because of the crime rate. And you can ride around now, and there's a house every half a mile. When you drive 5 or 6 miles, there's no house. There's no more rural areas around here. So, thank y'all.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker, James Lee.
My name is James Lee. I am here today representing the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Prior to that, I worked with Secretary Richard Nelson in the Governor Langer administration at the Department of Revenue, where I learned quite a bit in the last year about the finances of the state and parishes all across the state. Now, as I said, I work for our Oil and Gas Association representing companies across the state like ExxonMobil. In those few months, I've learned a lot about science. And one area of concern for you and for me is safety. Not just about CCS operations, but all that our oil and gas industry does to protect our employees. My father grew up in the oil and gas industry. He works in the oil and gas industry, and he served oil rigs in the Gulf of Mexico, flying in helicopters and boats, servicing companies with rigs like ExxonMobil. Every day when he went out for his turnarounds, we worried about his safety on those rigs, and companies like ExxonMobil were responsible for and protected his safety. And that, again, not just in the CCS operations, but all across the oil and gas industry. What I've learned about CCS, transporting and storing CO2 is safe. Pipelines have demonstrated they are the safest mode of transportation for products across the nation and across our own state. PHMSA recorded by the last year the lowest number of pipeline incidents with 290 nationally. This industry is good at pipeline safety, and this industry is only getting better at it day by day. CO2 pipelines maintain their leading safety record among all types of pipeline in service today, with only one of those 290 incidences being CO2 related. Here's what else I've learned. The injected CO2 is held in place by thick, impermeable sealed rocks thousands of feet underground, which are similar to the rocks that have kept oil, natural gas, and naturally occurring CO2 that is already in our ground, for millions of years. Once stored, the storage sites are monitored for any potential change. And the foundation of Class 6 permitting that the department has put together is the protection of underground sources of drinking water under the Safe Drinking Water Act. Since this act, not a single case of drinking water contamination has occurred from permitted underground injection. Today, oil and gas companies are committed to safety. It comes first in all that they do. And their operation of CCS will be and cannot be any different. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is a Porter Crosby.
Hey there, I'm Carter Crosby. I'm representing Crosby Land Resources. We're a family-owned company that's been in the area a long time, and we're neighbors to the Class 5 strat wells we're here today to talk about, and I'm just here to voice my support for the strat well permitting process. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker we have is a Katie McKee.
Katie McKeo. I'm here on behalf of the Grow Louisiana Coalition, which represents workers, families, and businesses across Louisiana's energy sector, and we have more than 110,000 supporters. I'm here today to support ExxonMobil's Class 5 carbon capture test well permits because this project represents the future of energy in our state and is the kind of responsible innovation Louisiana needs to stay competitive. Carbon capture utilization and storage offers Louisiana an opportunity to lead. This test well is a critical first step in proving that we can produce the low emission energy the world is demanding and ensure that Louisiana is at the forefront of securing American energy dominance. CCUS will help us to grow our economy and support jobs. Louisiana depends on a strong energy sector, and ExxonMobil alone supports thousands of good-paying jobs and contributes significantly to our schools, infrastructure, and local services. They have a track record as a century-long corporate partner in Louisiana and will continue that same level of partnership in Allen Parish. And we know there are questions, and that's why test wells are so important, to allow for data collection, monitoring, and transparency. And we know the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources has strict standards for their test Class 5 wells, and ExxonMobil has a record of meeting or exceeding those standards. So I trust that safety, environmental protection, and community engagement will remain front and center. So thank you for your time, and the Grow Louisiana Coalition supports these Class 5 permits.
Thank you. The next speaker calling up is Dwayne Horton.
Hey, I want to talk to the people out here. That's a damn deer up there. You gotta realize that there's no good gonna come out of this, or we wouldn't have had a chance to got it to start with. Without our water, our lives in this community is over. Forget about yourself. Think about the ones coming behind you. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Next speaker is Dorleen Horton.
My people is
Okay. Yes, thank you. Next speaker will be Rusty Reeves.
Rusty Reeves. I'm board member West Allen Parish Water District, board member of the Fire District and the local rec district in Reeves. Been involved in every one of them for the last 35 years or longer. I was president of the Water District. When we need something, we either got to go to the state for money or we got to go to the voters for tax money. Or we got to go to the ratepayers for money. Our drinking water in Reeves comes from 2 wells 1,700 foot deep. We're the closest ones to where they fix to punch these holes. We're drilling one right now, another 1,700 foot deep. So when it starts getting out that cavern, that hole, whatever it is, it's gonna affect our water first. We're in the very southwest of Allen Parish. When we went to buy land for this property, for this well, we went to buy property, we went to the timber companies. And they said, if you ain't buying $250,000 worth of land, we don't want to talk to you. We found a local landowner that sold us 3 acres right next to the timber company's land. They've not been the neighbors they talk about. My children, my daughter, my grandchildren will never hunt and fish where I did because everything is leased up or posted now. So it's not available to the public. My other thing I just want to tell you, the Titanic wasn't supposed to sink. Deepwater Horizon wasn't supposed to blow out. Exxon Valdez wasn't supposed to have happened. Sparta, Mississippi wasn't supposed to have happened, or Spacia, whatever you call it. And just to give you a little idea of where we at in the rural areas, because we are the rural area of this area, we was out of power 21 days after Hurricane Rita, and again after Hurricane Laura. And it stretched our emergency response efforts to the max. One company come forward and say, hey, we'll help you out by a truck. And they give us $70,000. The rest of these companies around here never come forward and said a word. We fought it on our own. We struggled through the darkness. We stole resources from whatever state agency would send them to us. The big boys didn't come in here running and ripping and running to help us clear roads, get water systems going again, getting power lines back up. We fought it on our own. My question is, if the power goes down, was these things that they putting in here, these wells and these pipelines, are they dependent on power to control them? And what happens if the power fails?
For 2 weeks. Or longer.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker is Jordan Uncle.
Hi, my name is Jordan Uncle. I'm a resident of Allen Parish. I live less than half a mile from the Denbury Green Line, and I live about 10 miles from one of the proposed injection sites. I just found out about these CO2 projects probably September, October. I'd never heard of it before, and the only reason I knew was because my aunt called me because she's my neighbor. And since then, I have just dove in. I have 4 little kids. 2 of my girls are here today. I just dove in with the information. I looked for articles. I looked for, chemistry reports, anything that I could possibly get my hands on, because I wanted to know, is this beneficial for our parish? Economically, is it safe? Is it safe for my kids? And so far, we get told one thing, and then I go to the risk assessment and I'm told another thing, and I'm not okay with it. And when these bills were proposed to the House, I'm not a politician, I'm a hairdresser. I know nothing about any of this stuff, but I can promise you, I read these bills backwards and forwards. I stayed up till 11 o'clock at night trying to get a grasp so that I could go up and fight for my parish, and they were all shut down. And their safety, it's safety. I don't understand how our safety is not worth it, how it's not worth more. And I'm mad, I'm really upset, I'm aggravated, and I'm really disappointed in our legislature right now, because I feel like they're choosing industry over our families. And I want to believe that you guys are doing the right thing, I really do. I want to, and I want you guys to change my mind. But so far, you haven't given me anything to change my mind. So I'm asking you guys to please stand up for our parish, stand up for my kids. We don't want it here.
Thank you very much. The next speaker would be Carlo Maggio.
Carlo Maggio, proud educator and coach in Allen Parish. Look, I may be in the wrong meeting, I'm not sure. I asked the young gentleman when I got here, he was very nice to direct me, but I just had a question. Oh, okay. All right, well, that gentleman over there. Kind of like what Ms. Jordan was just saying. I have a lot of coaching friends in here. I'm glad Coach Fondo's here. A lot of teachers, we talk a lot. And we can never get the answer to this question. So can someone explain, and back to what he said this isn't a question and answer, so I thought that's what it was, I'm sorry. Can someone explain the origin of the CCS project in Allen Parish? Specifically, who initiated it? How did it first come to the table? And what process allowed it to move forward? Because like she said, it's October. We're at the golf course. We got guys, Maggio, we got guys, I'm at the Beauregard Country Club. Maggio, how did this happen? Was it DeWitt? Was it the police juror? Was it like who? Oh, it was a big landowner. So one big landowner gets to make that, like, just how? So how did this happen? Who said it was a good idea? We just want to know. I know a lot of people that want to know that. Was it an economic developer? How did these things happen? It's just so I thought it was a question and answer. I didn't know it was just a comment deal. So if someone could just answer that question, a lot of people want to know. So, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you. And hopefully we get some answers.
Thanks, sir. Next speaker will be Jeremy Gray.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Gray. I'm a mechanical engineer that works for Pelican Energy, which is an engineering firm in the state of Louisiana, and we support the ExxonMobil permit. It is a growth industry. It's good for the state. It creates jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Solomon Shirley. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, I just want to share a little bit, but at the end of the day, we're taking accountability for our children, you know, and if we're not the voice for them, then who's going to be? Yeah, right. So at the end of the day, with this, there's no room for margin of error, right? And we understand, just like Charles and Roland and everybody already articulated. Rusty, at the end of the day, they said, BP wasn't supposed to happen. I was at Mississippi Canyon 109, and oil and gas industry has been good to many of us in here, and we're for the right oil and gas. You know what I mean? We're for the right, correct procedures. A lot of this is untested. Once, and it's not if. It's when this does enter into our water system, we got serious problems. Then what? Then the oops happens, right? Then it's too late. At the end of the day, we're against this. Even though it says, hey, it's a bunch of country people around here, listen, you deal with enough rats in your life, you learn to smell rats. And you're not going to fool us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker will be Brittany Manuel. Next speaker will be Patrick Riley.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Patrick Riley. I'm a chemical engineer, I'm an attorney, and I'm here on behalf of the Louisiana Chemical Association, representing the state's chemical manufacturers who produce many of the projects we use on a daily basis. I'm here tonight to urge you to approve Exxon's Class 5 permit. Exxon has been a valued member of LCA for decades and an active participant in our work to advance a safe, responsible manufacturing in Louisiana. Like all of our members, Exxon is committed to being a good neighbor, prioritizing safety, transparency, and meaningful engagement with the communities where they operate. Their consistent partnership and leadership makes me proud to stand here tonight and advocate on their behalf. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is a naturally occurring compound and a necessary part of the life cycle. It's present in the air we breathe, essential for plant growth, and forms the foundation for agricultural and ecological systems. We also encounter CO2 in many familiar ways. It gives soda its fizz, it's used in medical procedures, and it creates special effects in movies and in football games. It's safe, it's well understood, and it's already part of our daily lives. Carbon capture and storage, CCS, is simply the safe, permanent storage of CO2 deep underground. The captured CO2 is injected into layers of porous rock, often beneath multiple layers of impermeable stone. These are the same geological formations that have safely held oil and gas for millions of years. The industry also applies robust monitoring to ensure the CO2 stays exactly where it's put. These are not new technologies. They're well understood, heavily regulated, and used across the country. Exxon is also not new to this. They've been safely transporting and managing CO2 and other underground injection operations for decades, including right here in Louisiana. This permit is about applying that expertise to enable growth, innovation, and sustainability in our state. Let me be clear, approving this permit is not just about science, it's about opportunity. Take CF Industries, for example. They recently announced a $4 billion investment in low-carbon ammonia production to meet global demand. That investment was made possible by CCS technology and the policy framework that supports it. And consider the Metadata Center in Richland Parish, a $10 billion project committed to decarbonization through CCS. That's the kind of world-class investment that becomes possible when local governments lean in and support the forward-looking infrastructure like Class 5 wells you're considering tonight. This permit represents a tremendous opportunity for Allen Parish to take a step forward towards leadership in a growing industry, clean investment, and the future of Louisiana. Again, I respectfully ask that you approve this permit. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Ricky Ezel.
Can y'all hear me now? Awesome. Look, I'm probably one of the most people that is most conservative in this room. I rationalize everything. But yesterday I was woken up. I've never been woken up before. I went to the state capitol to watch the dog and pony show that's happening here tonight. What you had, thank you. What you had was a whole lot of people coming up on big numbers out. I didn't actually hear one talk about safety tonight. Didn't hear that all day yesterday. When they turned the people down, you had people up there bleeding their hearts out. Yeah. Bleeding their hearts out. And these people either took off work or took time out of their day to be there. The rest of them talking were paid to be there, just like we are tonight. You think our attorneys are here for free? And what they're doing is throwing out huge numbers at you, because that puts you guys in a spot to say yes. The EPA gave you primacy to approve these wells and took them out of the picture. With understanding you're going to protect the people in this room. We got zero confidence that is happening. Zero. When those legislative members yesterday voted down every bill that was to help protect some of our rights, and they just stepped on our constitutional rights or the eminent domain. Gave me zero respect for Louisiana Department. Was it environmental and natural resources? Zero respect, and I don't have no confidence that you guys will do your job effectively. And in my mind, the EPA should pull the MOA back that was given y'all in 2023 and help us out. ExxonMobil and the other companies here are spreading your big numbers around and talking all this stuff. Let's tell them how it really works. You all have approved vendors that you use. They're on your approved supplier list. You're not going to come to our parish and hire people.
No.
Oh, you sure? Come clean, dude. Come clean with us. I was part of the industry. I've written the contracts. You've already ordered your own legion others, I guess. even though the wells aren't approved. If you're gonna do this by 27, you're in the process, or already have, ordered your long lead items. Anybody want to deny that? They can't. That's right, they can't. So this whole scam, we're depending on you guys to protect us until we can get it changed. Can y'all do that? Can you do your job? And not cave into the big money and take care of the people? No, they can't. We all know it. So that's where we're at, folks. That's where we're at. We're caught in the middle. With the rural guys, with these guys should be actually taking time to make sure that no one in this area is being damaged by this project according to the EPA and the MOA that they give y'all. Is that happening? We can't answer it. Because their sole job is to protect you. It's not happening. I don't think I need any more time. I say what I need to say. Well, I do need one more minute. Carbon sequestration is very misleading. They got people in this room thinking that they're going to inject CO2. The stuff that you breathe, it's harmless, right? Then why don't they call it CO2 injection? As if 100% CO2 injection. But no, they lay the carbon. Lots of things in this world in carbon, including this podium in front of them, including the chemicals they're going to use for, what, corrosion inhibitors, anything that comes out of glue stacks that's captured, it's all going into our aquifers. So it's not just pure CO2 that is harmless other than asphyxiation. There's a bunch of other crap going on there also. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Garrett Monk.
Well, first thing I gotta say is everybody in here that's for this is not from here. They're from somewhere else. They don't give 2 nickels for this parish. As far as the Exxon and every refinery in North America, I've worked at every one of them, and Esso in Canada. That's the biggest polluters that there is. They don't give 2 cents for us, for a rural community. And they say, oh, it's 2 to 3% it's gonna be with the carbon. Ask them, what's 2 to 3%? What's 2 to 3%? Can't answer, won't answer. Why? Why they won't answer? Why they don't tell us the truth? Why? Why we can't get the truth? We hear, oh, they coming in giving Oakdale $50 million. They're paving the roads for Oberlin. Gonna give money to this one, give money to that one. In Baton Rouge yesterday, 1 job.
Thank you.
1 job is what's coming out of here. And DeWitt Carrier, the state lady said 40 million. DeWitt corrected her and said nothing. 1 job and a bunch of wells. So do we want that here? No. Do we really want that here to pollute our kids, my grandkids? I'm in the nursery business. I depend on water. All these crawfish farmers, they depend on water. This part of the country depends on water. And they're gonna pollute it. And this gentleman told us, I said, okay, what if you have a spill? What if you get a leak? You know what his answer was? We're gonna suck it up, filter it, and put it back in. I worked 20 years in environmental service. I call bullshit on that. So as far as the Exxon and all this, they lie. They lie. They lie. So go ahead, they speak with a forked tongue. They're going to try to pat you back and give you something, but they're going to lie to you and stick it in the rear. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker I'd like to call is Luke Bullock.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My name is Luke Bullock, and I represent the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. I am not from Allen Parish, but I did move my family here from Texas, and I had a child here, and I bought a home here. And we're here to support Louisiana investing in themselves. to fix a lot of problems that this state has. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Linda DeRosier.
I yield my time to the other gentleman, took too many. But I do want to say I agree that all these paid speakers are not from Allen Parish, and none of this stuff is going in their bag.
Thank you. We really need you to come to the podium if you have a comment, but we did hear you. Thank you. Next speaker is Todd Taylor.
My name's Todd Taylor. I've been living in Louisiana all my life, hardly ever left even for a trip. Worked at a refinery for 36 years. My daddy worked there 43. My son works there now. The biggest thing that I worry about is having lived here all my life, knowing how the money flows in Baton Rouge when it comes to trying to get things done the right way or people to go in the right direction. One of the fundamental things in this country is the people to have a voice. And in order for us to have a voice, we use our feet to go to the voting booth and vote on things when it's time to vote. And if there was ever a time that we should be able to vote on saving our water and our families and our friends and our communities, people, we're talking about our drinking water. We can only go a few days. We can go weeks. When you're fat as I am, you can go a bunch of weeks without food, but you cannot go without water. I have beautiful children and beautiful grandchildren, and I know a lot of y'all do too. And most, if not all, of the people here that are for this permit to drill these wells and put poison in the ground where our drinking water is, don't live where that's going to affect them or their